right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening. My name is Kylie Mccormick. I'm the president of the Casper League of Women Voters, and it is my honor to welcome you all to our 2022 Natrona County School Board Candidate Forum. I want to thank all of our candidates for being here this evening. We have an amazing turnout and an amazing audience turnout. So I want to thank you all for coming out tonight to be informed voters, and thank you for being here this evening to share your platform. I want to share a little bit about the League of Women Voters. We are a nonpartisan, non-biased group that get together to put together forums like this and work on voter education. If anybody is interested in joining the League of Women Voters, we have a great informational packet in the back there and a sign-up sheet, and we'd be happy to have you join us. We also do things like put together a voter guide, which you can find online. You can find that following this QR code that you'll be seeing all around town on these little coasters. So definitely be sure to check out our voter guide on vote411.org. It's a great way to stay informed. As far as this evening goes, I'm going to turn things over to our amazing moderators, Beth Worthen and Joanne True, as well as our moderator from the Natrona County Library. Thank you to the library for co-sponsoring this forum, Betsy O'Neill. If you would like to have a question submitted, we have a runner in the back there, Jim Brown, from the League of Women Voters. That's right, we take everybody in the League of Women Voters, not just women. And there's these great note cards in the back where you can write that question down, give that to Jim, and he'll run it on up to our moderators. I'll let the moderators explain the rules of the evening. And with that, good luck to our candidates. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kylie. I'm Beth Worthen, and I'm really glad that everybody has come out tonight. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you in advance for any questions that you provide for the forum, and also thank you in advance for just respecting each of the candidates tonight. We're hopeful that we can just have a great evening that kind of celebrates democracy, helps us learn about the candidates and their position on the issues. So because of that, and because we have lots of candidates and lots of questions to get to, we really want to encourage you to refrain from clapping, because it actually takes time, and heckling absolutely won't be tolerated, and we'll have to ultimately ask you to leave. So we just want tonight to be a fun event where we are respectful, where we're listening, where we're learning, and we're having a good evening, and would appreciate your cooperation with that. I want to explain kind of the rules for tonight in terms of the format. We're going to start where every candidate will have 1.5 minutes, so 90 seconds, to provide an introduction. And we have microphones. This microphone is for the first two tables, and then this microphone is for the next two tables. And so if you'll just circulate the microphone between those tables, that would be really helpful. We are also going to take turns in terms of having candidates answer the first the question. So it won't always be the person at the end. So we'll just kind of go down the line in terms of who answers the question that we're asking, and you'll take turns, and then we'll make sure that everybody answers the question. We are doing a combination because Joanne and I like to have a really good time at these forums, and we know how to have a good time. And that is, we're doing a combination of long answer questions, which are 1 minute, and we'll tell you when it's a long form question, and short answer questions, which sometimes, and we'll give you this in advance, sometimes it's going to be like 30 seconds. Sometimes it's just going to be like a sentence. We have librarians in the audience to gauge whether it's an actual sentence using proper punctuation. We don't want any kinds of silliness with clauses and semicolons. I'm just kidding, but there will be some where it really is just going to be a quick yes or no sentence. So I think that will give us a really good opportunity to cover a wide variety of issues. Joanne, what have I forgotten? Oh, Betsy is our timer. And Betsy will be giving you a couple of different signals. The first is when your time is halfway through. And that'll be for whether it's a minute long or whether it's a 30-second. So just go ahead and look for Betsy. Now, if she holds up the red, that means your time is done. And Joanne and I use our mom voices to make sure that, that you wrap things up and we move along. Again, we just really want to get to, we've got tons of great questions, so we really want to get to as many as possible. What else have I? That's it. Okay, well then let's go.
Okay, as she said, we're gonna go ahead and start at the end. And Ms. Buhasa, if you want to go ahead and start, and you've got a minute and a half, and then after that, we'll just go down the line all the way to the end. I think it should be live.
My name is Fatima Buhosa. I moved here from Tampa, Florida. I retired vet. My children went to Kelly Walsh, played all kinds of sports. I volunteered a lot at Kelly Walsh. I loved it. Great teachers, great school. And I'm running for the Natrona County School Board because I believe it is important to give back to the community that I currently reside in. I also feel it's important to establish a strong relationships, which I did with parents and teachers in the community. We need to work on expanding education opportunities and to meet the needs of the child, the whole child, and the community. We want them to prosper, we want them to be able to do good things here and stay here. That's what a lot of people always say. They want us to stay, they want our children to stay. So it is important to say that children are our future. And because of this, I think that I would be a good candidate in school board.
Hello. Hi, my name is Kevin Christopherson. I was born here in Casper, Wyoming. I've raised my family here in Casper. I ran a trucking company with my father, then my mother for 45 years. So I'm an employer here in town. Some of you might have seen me back in the day. I was a hang glider pilot. I still fly hang gliders every once in a while, but fly other things. I did spend 8 years on the Natrona County School Board. I originally got on because we were going through a lot of building, and I had some building experience, and so fun and rewarding experience to help shepherd this district through that. All of my kids went to Kelly Walsh. I have 10 foreign exchange kids. We still have one this year. It's been a great experience, and that keeps me more involved with the schools. Even though I'm a Kelly Walsh parent, I advocate for everybody. I spent a lot of time advocating for NCHS, and I'm probably one of the main reasons they have a swimming pool now. I like, I know some people don't agree with that, but there's decisions you have to make on a board that aren't popular. There's always somebody that's gonna not like what you say. So I'm one of those people that usually say what I mean and say what I think. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit to it, but we'll move on from there. So a lot of people know me, know my history, and just know that I'm an advocate for kids. A lot of times the teachers and the educators, what's good for them is good for the kids, but I always look at what's good for the kids first, always. So that's where I'll stand on the board.
Thank you, Mr. Christopherson.
I'd like you both. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tina Dean. I've lived in Wyoming for 40 years and Casper for 12. My husband and I just became empty nesters, and a couple of years ago when our child graduated from KW. I work for an oil and gas company out of Colorado, and I'm lucky enough to have a home office. In my spare time, I enjoy Wyoming's open spaces, kayaking, camping, and hiking when I'm not sitting in front of the fire. My goals, if I'm elected, are to build up our children, to be smart, capable, confident adults by making sure the students are taken care of intellectually, physically, socially, and mentally. And to keep in mind that every student is unique and may require alternative tactics to have a successful and enriching educational journey. Fully support and allow teachers the freedom to create their lesson plans in accordance with the required curriculum. Also, to expand hands-on, real-world programs, mental health services, and prioritize extracurricular activities. And to utilize my teamwork skills while working with other trustees, teachers, parents, and of course, the students. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Hi. Okay, I'm Jennifer Hopkins. I have lived in Casper for 32 years, and my family originates from Buffalo, Wyoming. I am a proud oil field wife that has been married for 26 years this month. We have 6 children and a beautiful grandbaby. I'm a graduate of Natrona County High School. When I attended NC, I participated in a program that placed students and local businesses that taught the student a trade. I was fortunate enough to be placed in a businesses that taught how to make stained glass. And from that connection, I was able to be hired by the Tate Museum. And they had the privilege of working on the Stephanie Triceratops dig in the rolling hills of Glen Rock. The experience taught me a beautiful artistic trade, as well as how to work in the real world. I am running for the school board because in the last year and a half, I have discovered that our schools are pulling away from educating the student on academics, trade, or for real life expectations, and starting to focus on social emotional learning, pornographic literature, and defiant behavior of students. I also want to mention that I don't think, another reason why I'm running is because I believe that we are expecting our schools to raise the whole child and pulling away from the parent. The parent is responsible for the whole child, and the parent will choose if the child will be where they will be educated. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Darren Hoffman, and I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. To start off, my family moved here in 2007. We've been here approximately 15 years. We've enjoyed Casper. We're very thankful for the time that we've been here. We've had 3 of our older children have all graduated from Kelly Walsh. I currently have a daughter who is attending Kelly Walsh as well, and I have a son who's in 5th grade in the district as well. And I always strive to find ways to serve the community. I ran for Natrona County Commissioner in 2010. We had a group of about 16 candidates. I finished about 7th out of what for a total of 3 spots that needed to be filled in that election. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to learn more about the school board and to participate. I feel like I have a unique set of skills based on my experience as a business coach and working with businesses to improve their organizations, make them more effective, be able to fully tap into all the resources that are needful for an organization. And I would like to be able to turn my focus to the business of education. And that's where I see this as an opportunity to serve the community, to help improve things as far as being able to use the resources in the school district in a more effective way throughout the time I might serve. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ryan Landon. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up and thank the library for holding this event. I moved out here with my family. I have a son who's 6 years old, starting in 1st grade over at Pineview. And we moved out here from Du Bois. And I am a former teacher of 16 years. I taught theater and woodshop for 16 years at high school and college level. I know there's another theater teacher here running, like-minded maybe. I'm running to support the teachers. As a former teacher myself, I understand the hardships that teachers go through and the difficulty it is to not only maintain discipline in the classroom, but also maintain the structure and your integrity of your own opportunities that you offer within the classroom and your professionalism. And I also support listening to all stakeholders. That includes parents, students, teachers, and administration. And I'm excited to be here.
Good evening, and I thank you also for being here tonight. My name is Debbie Mccullar. I am a Casper native. I am a mom, a wife, a grandmother. I retired in 2013 from 37 years in the classroom teaching kids English, and had somebody mention to me that I'd be grading 9th grade essays my entire career. I might have thought differently. But one of the things that I know about being an English teacher and getting to read kids' writing is that I learned a lot about them. And so I do believe in the whole child, educating the whole child. As a teacher, I was very active in kids' things like cheerleading, sponsor, and referee, and coach, and those are just some of the things, taking kids to Denver for a weekend to expose them to things that we don't have in Casper, bringing them to my house for Chinese tea parties so that they could try sushi and things that they aren't used to. So on the board, my focus is on my decisions is what's best for kids. How is what we're doing going to help or harm the kids? Thank you.
Good evening. Again, it's sorry about that. Again, good evening, and I'll echo what some of the other candidates have said. It's really good to see the turnout that we have here tonight. I've been involved politically here in Casper and throughout Wyoming since 2014. And I ran for US Senate, and the debate for US Senate had less people in it than this one does. So great job coming out tonight. Thank you. And the reason I decided to run, I'm a retail manager now. I spent my entire career as a restaurant manager, retired, and then went back to work. And I just recently became, well, 6 years ago, became a grandparent for the first time. And a year and a half ago, became a grandparent for the third time. They're getting ready to enter the school system. And I'm really worried about their education and their safety within the schools. And I want to work together with parents, teachers, administrators, the board, to give our children, my grandchildren, a better education and a safe environment to learn. Because if they don't have a safe environment, they can't learn.
Okay, I'm Renee Redding. I was born and raised in Wheatland, grew up there, moved here for college. Didn't think as a young kid I'd stay in Wyoming, and here I am. We all have that. I am running for Natrona County School Board because I believe that our kids deserve the best future. On my board, it says kids first. I want to stop government overreach. I believe that Natrona County has lost, unfortunately, academic learning, and I think instead of social ideologies. So I want to bring back academic learning. I want to bring back focus on the parents. The parents should be more involved in our school district, and I want to bring that back. Also, I think that when we have parents involved in the school district, we make better decisions. Parents have that child best interest at heart. So I believe that we should bring that back. And I believe that teachers went to school to teach. They went to school to teach math, science, English, and we need to bring that back for our children's sake.
My name is Mary Schmidt. I have lived here for 22 years. I've been married 19 years out of those 22 years. And I have 5 children, 3 of which attend one of the high schools here in Natrona County. I have private schooled them, I have homeschooled them, and now for the older ones, I am public schooling them. So a year and a half started attending school board meetings because of the COVID mask issue. I wanted to see what was going on. And after that ended, I stayed. And I continued to listen to the school board meetings and discovered that the academic focus has shifted to, as Jennifer Hopkins put it, the whole child, the social emotional learning, the sexualization of our children. And I just feel that is more the parents' issue, and it is the school's issue to academically educate. And that is what I would like to see us return to.
Thanks everyone for coming out, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting this on. It's always great to get to see everybody and to hear what all the other candidates have to say as well. My name is Kiana Smith. I am currently a trustee serving on the board. I was elected 4 years ago in 2018. And I ran originally 4 years ago because I had a passion both for education and politics. And so running for school board was the perfect way to deal with those two passions of mine. So let's start here. My main priorities on school board are 3 things. So the first is choice. I care a lot about our open enrollment system here in Natrona County. I think it's something that is unique and something that should definitely be protected. And that provides really fantastic opportunities for students in the district to be served and have all of their needs met, and not necessarily to go to schools that are all going to be carbon copies of one another or just cooking other schools. My second priority is responsibility. I care a lot about the budget, making sure that we're handling taxpayer dollars responsibly. And my third is transparency. I think that that is something that is really important, that the public is aware of what's going on and has information available to them about how their government bodies like the school board are operating. So those are the 3 priorities that I focus on currently and would continue to focus on in the future. And I do hope that I can be reelected, and I ask for your vote on November 8th.
Good evening, and thanks for coming out, and thanks to the League of Women Voters for putting this on, and the Natrona County Library to host it. You know, as you look at this table, I want you to realize there are a lot of school districts across the country that can't get anybody to run for the board. And take a look at this. We are blessed that we have this many community members who are willing to step up to the plate, become leaders in the school district, and help make things the way they should be for our kids. In my case, I started off at the country schoolhouse up in Landon, Wyoming. If you've ever been there, it's population 15. Unfortunately, we moved out of state and I could hardly wait to get back here. Well, I started my educational career in 1974 in Nebraska, but I still kept thinking I've got to get there. And then eventually in 86, I made it to Kelly Walsh High School, and here I am. So I was a full-time teacher for 41 years, and then I retired, but I failed at that because I became a substitute, and counting the time as a substitute, I have now started my 48th year in the classroom. And I got to tell you, I absolutely love it. Last week and this week and next week, I get to substitute in 8th grade English over at Centennial. And I have to tell you, the teachers I'm working with over there are the hardest working individuals I've seen in education in a long time. Oh, no. Okay. I want to go from the classroom to the boardroom and help guide the district in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I'd like to thank the library and the league and everybody here, great Americans right here at Wood of the grade, for showing up to these events. And my name is Bernie Studer. I was born in Wheatland, Wyoming. And my school career started in Lusk. I think I have the record for 2nd grade. I had 2nd grade in Lusk, Casper at Willard School, and Riverton, where I stayed until the 8th grade. Then I came to Douglas for 1 year, went to KW for 1 year. I went to Joseph, Oregon, Northeastern Oregon, graduated there in 1975 and went to Klamath Falls, Oregon, Southern Oregon. Got the Associates of Science in Electronics Engineering. My work experience is construction, dairy, and utility contractor. I don't have any kids, but I have employed some of yours maybe, not necessarily from Natrona County, but in several other states. I want to My main objective is to make sure that students have proper foundation and get the student, I think in my case and in your kid's case, let's get them on a career path with focus and discipline. And budget, I'm not too worried about cost, but I am concerned about value. Curriculum, I want it to be full and accurate, and public involvement, just like this. Volunteers at schools, I don't know if they still do that. Thank you.
This is really, really cool to be here. I just have to say, it's just really awesome. Eyes on. I usually don't need this. My name is Lisa Taylor, and because there are 3 Lisa Taylors in the community of Casper, Wyoming, and one of them emphatically said, please don't let them think I'm running. I am using my maiden name in my candidacy as Lisa Corning and Taylor. So that, just so you know, that makes me different than the other Lisa Taylors out there, if you know them. So I'm from Casper. I went to elementary, junior high, and high school here. I graduated from the University of Wyoming with a bachelor's degree and have continued on in my education with both a master's and a doctorate in education. I have just finished my 27th year as a public school teacher, and I just spent the last 8 years back here in my good hometown of Casper, Wyoming. I am a brand new out of the classroom teacher, and it's really weird to be in this end of it. I couldn't stay away, because my passion and my love are kids. I just love them. I love them so much. And they're growing up in this really not so crazy world. But I received a really good education here in Casper, and I believe that we can continue that for our students. I do have 4 primary goals. My first primary goal is to look and listen to all educators. That includes custodians, ESPs, cafeteria people, anyone who works in a school is an educator. That's my #1 priority. There's others.
Okay, I guess I'm last. My name is Arthur Youngberg. I grew up in Saratoga, Wyoming. I graduated with 33 kids. I was a solid C student in school. I struggled. Then I went to Wyotech, got solid A's. I think the trades are where it's at. We need to help kids that don't do very well in that school, that the trades are there for them. 2/3 of the teachers want to quit. I find that as a problem. We pay almost $7,000, I think, per kid to educate them. And that's a lot of money for taxpayers. So we should give them a good education. That's why I'm running.
Hey, well, well, I'm sorry to put you, to have you go through that again, but we're gonna start down at that end of the table. And we're gonna go reverse that way, so you don't always have to follow the same person. So sorry about that, Mr. Youngberg, you're up first on this question. And as a reminder, you've got a minute, so she will give you the yellow card at 30 seconds and the red card at a minute. Use as much of that minute as you need to explain your answer. If anyone needs me to repeat the question, please don't hesitate to do so. The first question is, what is your philosophy on the role of public education in society? And as a trustee, how would you fill that role to meet this philosophy?
So I guess my philosophy is they should teach math, science, history, probably computers now, I guess. I'm kind of old, so I don't know. That's what I want the schools to teach, so they can get a better job than I have and get a better career. How would I do that? I think you need to listen to the teachers. We have some amazing teachers in this school district. We need to listen to them first, and then we need to figure out where to go from there. And the parents, when I watch these school board meetings and there's 200 people lined up to talk to them, you're probably doing something wrong.
I'd like to remind the audience that we can't have any disruption, please. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Taylor, your question is next.
I believe that schools are the heart of any community. And we need to appreciate that. Any community in which a school leaves, the community breaks apart. I've seen it over and over again. And so with that heart in mind,
we have to keep it alive and going. And so the schools are a vital, vital part of any community. And what our community should be all about is our future. So our children are not only our present right now, but they're also our past. Those of us who've all been to school, right? And then the ones that are coming up are our future. And so we need to do whatever we can to support them to be the best kind of people they can be in an unknown future. We're the first generation of kids who teachers don't know how to teach because they don't know what the future is. So, the end.
Thank you.
Lisa.
No worries.
In my day, the fundamentals were reading, writing, and arithmetic, and I think that we need to get back to that, especially in the elementary and the lower grades. Make sure they understand letters and words and know how to talk and learn some basic math skills and learn how to count. It's all simple. And a lot of kids, you know, they'll shine. Ones that are a little advanced, let's move them on a little bit. And I agree with listening to the teachers and the parents, as long as they're civil. And heck, the kids will tell you, you know, they're at the questions that they ask. That's your clue how to teach it.
Thank you. We have an obligation. Our number one obligation as adults is to teach the children. That's not just an obligation, it's a sacred obligation, or as I heard a friend of ours say the other day, it is a divine calling. Teaching, as we have often heard, is not the filling up of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. The children are the future. Our job is to determine what to do to help kids become the future, to find out who they are, where they fit, how they are going to become the future and lead us through the rest of it. If we fail in that obligation, if we do not teach the children well, what good are we? We have failed. We cannot fail our children.
Public education exists to provide an opportunity to all students to receive an education. Hopefully, it is an equal opportunity so that everybody has an option to learn and to go to school. And this is something that I believe is very important for our society, that we're educating our youth. I think it's extremely important to focus on areas like critical thinking, to help our students ask questions and be curious about subjects so that they can learn more about the world and so that they are able to think for themselves and, like I said, to be curious, to ask those questions that nobody else is asking so that they can function in society as adults who are innovative and who bring important skills and knowledge to the world. As a trustee, I would support this first and foremost by supporting our teachers so that they can teach students. Thank you.
I think education, I compared a lot to the Lincoln Douglas debates, that the audience of that debate were shopkeepers, farmers, average, everyday people, and they could all understand the conversation that they were having, that Abraham Lincoln and Douglas were having. And that is what we should expect from our education, our elementary education system, is that the children that graduate can participate in society, whether they work as a plumber or at the convenience store, or if they go on to university. Education should be academic, and from there, the child can determine what they want to do with their life.
Philosophy. My philosophy is academic. Children need that foundation. Every child needs that foundation. Math, science, English. We need that foundation. So as a trustee, I feel like supporting our teachers for their curriculum to get that good foundation
is important. And then also including those parents. The school district is here to teach our children, and then the parents also teach our children. Academics for the Natrona County School District, and the rest belongs to the parents.
I think the job of our schools is to educate our young people in, as we've heard, subjects like reading, writing, arithmetic. That's what I grew up as. I'm an old guy, okay, and history. We need to show them what's happened in our past so that we don't repeat those same mistakes. I'm a history buff. I love my history. We also need to teach each child where they're at. Some are really good in academics. Others are better with their hands. We need to give them the basics and then let the student tell us where they're more comfortable with academics or working with their hands. As a trustee, the way you do that is working with the parents, the teachers, and the children.
So I agree that we need to be educating our kids in the basics, giving them skills, teaching them how to solve problems to become critical thinkers. But I also know that because we are kind of a captive audience, society has dumped a whole lot of responsibilities on the school system that are not ours. But we accept them because you cannot educate kids that are hungry when they come to school in the morning, who have parents that may or may not get up and get them to school in the morning. We have a lot of throwaway kids out there. So it is important to understand that we have taken on the role of things that really don't belong in education because there's been a laxity on the part of parents.
In my opinion, the purpose of public education is to not only educate and give you the students those foundations of reading, writing, and arithmetic, but also the foundations of the humanities and getting the critical thinking skills through those elective courses, and ensuring that all students, when they get out of high school, by the time they've gone through all schools, that they are actually college and or career ready, meaning that they actually get out of high school ready to be a successful part of the community. And also, along with this, as a teacher, there's moments where you're teaching students just to how to be a human, also how to be nice to each other. And some of that goes along with this. It's not just always cut, clear, black and white. There's some gray in there as well.
My philosophy goes back to personal experience. And the philosophy basically is that it's not about groups of students, it's about each individual child. And my personal experience that makes this so important to me is when I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with Lead-Calf-Perthes bone disease, very crippling disease. I spent the next 2 years in an A-frame brace on my legs, did not go to school for 2 years, had a tutor come in twice a week, give me personal attention and teach me how to read, how to write, math, all those things. I had a speech language pathologist that worked with me on other issues that I had. All those things are very important to me. And the more that we can help each individual child become a thriving, contributing adult, which I feel that I am in my life, is very important. And that's where we need to keep our focus.
Thank you. I guess my philosophy would start where the parents is the first educator, and we need to get back to that. We are putting too much of a load on our teachers to raise the whole child, and it would take a while to peel that back. We're getting used to our children being fed 3, maybe 4 times a day. So yeah, I think we're asking way too much of the school district. Another thing I believe deeply in is reading. I mean, reading is everything, writing, math, and also history. And we need to aid the teachers. The parents need to be right there with the teachers and helping. And choices, children need choices. Well, older children.
Our children spend 1,000 of the 6,000 waking hours every year in school. That's a lot. During that time, they're going to learn, you know, the basics, math, reading, science, and they're going to have extracurricular activities that they need so that they feel like they have community. And some of these children don't feel like they have that, and they can only find it in school. So I think that's really important too. Basically, they need to leave school feeling like they are going to conquer the world.
So in my view, the role of public education is to prepare these kids for their life. Because 80% of the kids that graduate our schools aren't going to graduate college. And life comes at them hard and fast, right? So I was a proponent for individual classes over at the PIC, CTE. I pushed for extra CTE at NCHS, and they still don't have enough. I push for the kids that are at risk because, I mean, we got to be honest, the kids that are smart, the valedictorians, shutting down these schools didn't hurt them in a bit. You know, the kids that are going to be hurt and were hurt are the kids that are at risk. The kids that don't have the parents at home to help them through the kids that we're raising as a school district. So we really need to focus on those kids at risk. If we want to get our graduation rates up and get these kids onto a decent life, we have to focus on that.
Should ask for the question, because now I came all the way down. No, just joking. I do agree with a lot of people here. Children, like you said, are our future, and we need to prepare them for it. The current, what's going on now, and later on. I did write down that we do want our kids to have critical thinking skills. You do teach them the basics. Yes, that's important, but when they go out there, they're going to need more than just the basics. They got to be able to deal with individuals, you know, and that's what the school does. It gives them opportunity to create community and to learn how to socialize and bring interest in things like that. They have to learn how to do more than just read, write, and arithmetic. And I think the school gives them that opportunity. Teachers do help do a lot more than just give them the basics. They give them everything. They teach them how to. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, there's more to it.
Thank you. Okay, next question, and if we could actually pass the microphone down to Ms. Mccullar. We're going to start with you, work our way down, and then it's going to come to Mr. Youngberg. Basically, just so Joanne and I can like stay, you know, excited and mix things up a little bit. So again, Ms. Mccullar down, then Mr. Youngberg down to Mr. Youngberg. Okay, you have 30 seconds on this question. If enrollment continues to decrease and state and federal funding is limited, how will you navigate the budget shortfall? Please give an example of a specific cut you would support.
Well, I would hope that we would just downsize and not cut. When I started on the board, we were in a bust economy, and we had a 3-year plan so that we didn't have this big cliff that we were going to drop off, so that we were able to accomplish our goals over the 3-year period. So I would hope that just downsizing would keep things in an even keel.
I think the the way I'd like to see it done is not affecting students or teachers or limiting that. And anybody that works at the school district, try and decrease the budget in ways that are not affecting employment or people, and while still maintaining the quality of education. I know that doesn't necessarily answer the question because it's very vague, but my goal would be to not eliminate jobs is what I'm trying to say.
I've seen in multiple school districts, even the school district I went to school in growing up, moved to a 4-day school week. That's a very impactful thing to happen. It reduces the number of jobs that are lost in that situation. It also has a tendency to see test scores for children improve. And so it's kind of an amazing thing that has happened in many other school districts of implementing a 4-day school week. I would be an advocate for that.
I think I would look at the top of it, at the district office, and do away with non-essentials.
Well, I definitely wouldn't want to sacrifice what the students get. I believe that they need to have the extracurricular activities, as previously stated. It's very important to them. I like the idea of the 4-day school week. That's pretty great, because I know a lot of adults want to do that too and work. And then there would be more family time. 3-day weekend, that sounds awesome to me. I like that.
I'm not opposed to 4-day either. We did that out the Midwest and it worked really well. I've gone through, like Debbie, we went through major budget cuts and we successfully did it without laying off one employee. And we did that by employing all sorts of methods that I don't have the time to tell you here, but just let you know I've been through that before, and it's not my goal to lay anybody off. Also, there's programs that are always could be cut. I was responsible for getting rid of the Discovery program, which was a huge waste of money, and redirecting that money back into the rec board. And
as long as the decrease in the budget, which budget always affects everything, does not, we don't lose teachers. I do like the 4-day school, but we also got to be careful with that because a lot of parents have to work 5 days a week. So who's going to watch my child when I have to work? Not everybody has that luxury, you know. But that is nice. Maybe they can rotate, you know, the schedule a little bit. But do not take away, as long as they don't take away the extracurriculars, because the whole child is important as well.
Okay, we have school of choice here, and it's really confusing to me because I only had one school to choose from. So we have to figure out why people are busing all these kids around. Diesel is $7 a gallon sometimes. That's a good way to cut costs. We got to figure out our school system. Every school should be a good school to send the kids to.
Well, my answer is I don't know. As never been on a school board before, and I've looked at lots of policies, I've looked at budgets, I've looked at lots of those things, but never with that lens before. And so my answer is I would have to see. We would have to look very, very carefully at every little thing to see what we could do. And with goals of not hurting students, of not laying off teachers, of doing all those things. So that is a really complicated question. It's bigger than what we have time for.
In any enterprise that hires people, labor, that's the biggest cost. And I do not know what the budget is for labor in the school district, but I would guess it's around 30 to 40%. If we follow the Pareto principle, 76% of the people need to go. And if you're not familiar with that, that is 20% of the people do 80% of the work. If we follow Jack Welch, the former CEO of General Electric, he got rid of 10% of the people at the end of every year. It's a hard choice, but
First of all, I don't want to cut anything. But pragmatically, there might be cuts that have to be made here and there. I have to agree with Lisa That's something that has to be studied and not a quick knee-jerk thing. But we need a balance between academics and activities. Activities are the other half of education. I don't want to cut anything that is going to hurt kids. And I certainly don't want to cut the faculty and the staff because they're the ones doing the work. Start with transportation, form the committee to come up with other ideas.
So I'll start by addressing a couple other things that other people said. So as far as busing, I actually did an in-depth analysis of that 4 years ago when I ran. We spend a comparable amount on our busing as Cheyenne does, and they do not have open enrollment. So I don't believe that that would be a place to find cuts. We also have done quite a few cuts at the administrative level. So I don't know that there's a whole bunch more to cut there, but we can look at it. I agree with Debbie and Kevin. Actually, I think that downsizing is always good. It's easy to plan for that usually. And there's always programs as well that can be cut.
Based off of the bureaucracy and the requirements that the federal government puts on our district, I would start at the district level and start cutting federal requirements and the bureaucracy, and that will probably reduce some staff.
So first thing first, which I think we're all failing to mention, is if enrollment declines, the budget should not increase, which is what the school board did this time. They increased our budget and the enrollment has declined. So looking at, if you look at the actual budget in our school, frivolous spending. There are a lot of fees that none of us know about until you actually look at the budget. And I think we need to look at that.
I would agree with a lot of what I've heard today. The thing is downsizing. Yeah, we've got less students. We have less to do. We can cut, we can downsize. I walk in the district office and I see 5, 6 people sitting at desk right there at the entryway. I'm not sure what their jobs are. And again, this is another thing. Until I get in there, I really don't know what's absolutely necessary and what isn't.
Okay, and thank you for your patience in trying to answer budget questions in 30 seconds. And I'm sorry, but we're going to ask you another one in 30 seconds, and hopefully you can get a few comments and trying to get as many questions as we possibly can. And we've got several coming in from the audience yet. This time I think we'll start with Ms. Smith, and then we're going to go back that way. It's a dance every time. So we're going to go back that way to Mr. Youngberg and then come back around and wrap. So we'll start with you. So you in the middle don't always get like lumped in, and you on the ends kind of get in the middle. So we're trying to even things up. Some of you have already touched on this topic already, but if you could add a little color, how do you suggest teachers meet the needs of students whose parents do not provide or cannot provide for their emotional, social, or physical health, which then prevents their learning and the learning of others?
It's a really big ask to put that on teachers, and I don't know that the responsibility should fall solely on them. Unfortunately, sometimes these are problems that they have to deal with in the classroom. I would hope that we can provide some sort of social emotional learning framework to at least help them address behavioral issues. And outside of that, it's difficult. There are teachers who are spending their own money on students, and I don't expect that of them. But just to provide them as much support as we can within the district, I think is important.
I'm a big proponent of the whole child, and I'm not afraid to say it. We have to give them nutrition. We have to give them psychological services. We have to give them every single thing that they need that we can provide to help them with their education. If we don't do that, we're not doing our job. It's as simple as that. Can teachers do it all? No. That's why we need a comprehensive professional support staff. And without them, we're out of the water.
It makes me want to cry. I see it out there a lot. But sadly, some of those parents, and maybe most of them, are graduates of the school system. Now to the volunteer, what I mentioned before, some of those kids are your kids' friends, and they're sticking around your house. That's why they're sticking around your house. Help them out.
My philosophy is that education is only 40% academic and about 60% all the other stuff.
And many, many, many of my kids, my beloved kids, did not have the support of their parents in ways that we in a society wish they did. That's the reality of every teacher in our school district. Every teacher has those kids. In fact, it's getting to be in my 27-year career, it's now the majority. It is not simply just a 1 or 2 kids in every classroom, it is the majority.
Well, I think with the way teachers teach, it's kind of hard to put that on them. We need to put that back on the parents. It's their fault. The kids acting this way, come get them. If that's too bad, sorry. We have a business to run here, and all these kids need to get a good education.
Then we'll come back. Yep, sorry about that. It's a little bit of a confusing. Oh, okay, yep. Start on this end and then down through.
Okay, so teachers have to do it. They have no choice, because if they're not getting it from home, and some children don't have a home, some are foster children, some are homeless, do not have an actual home. So teachers spend time doing that without, if they don't get them together with their social, some of their needs, they can't teach. They won't learn because they have all these other things in their mind. I think it's important that we have counselors as well. Maybe we could send a child to a counselor while the teacher's teaching as well. So we need that whole community in the school.
So sitting on the school board for 8 years has taught me that we have kids that are in serious trouble and need help from someplace. If they only help from us, they're not going to get it. You can't just send them home, send them to jail. You know, the kids that don't learn how to read by 3rd grade, they end up in our prisons. That's our job. Like it or not, that's our job. I don't think we should be. I think we should leave religion to the parents or to the churches if we can, but we need to hire counselors. I've always supported our counselors. Thank you.
It is true that not every family is able to provide the time or the money for the basics for their children. Our school system has to be able to pick up that slack and provide food, a safe environment, and an education. It's an unfortunate fact, but it's imperative to some children.
I think teachers are already responding to this. They already see the needs of children that are lacking. I think one of the biggest problem is to take on a program from a federal government and funnel it down to our teachers. I think the teachers are already doing this.
You know, my first thought was, if you're hungry, your ability to learn is, of course, hindered. And so, yes, we need to fulfill that need for our children so that they are better able to learn and to work towards being able to thrive. And I think it's going to take more than the school district, more than the teachers. We have some tremendously wonderful teachers that are striving to help the children in some major ways, going above and beyond. And so, you know, the saying of, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. We need more community partnerships.
Thank you, Mr.
For the most part, teachers are doing this already in the classroom. I know that I did it as a former teacher, not necessarily sitting down with those students on occasion doing that, but referring them out to school psychologists, referring them out to counseling, and helping and assisting those students who are in need of special social learning or social skills.
I agree that teachers do it in the classroom, but I also know that we have a really good support staff in this system. Social workers, psychologists, nurses, the healthcare professionals. And one thing that we did with the budget this year was we added a counselor, or excuse me, last year we added a counselor to every school and a nurse to the schools also. So we're trying to address the problems as we can.
I think it's a definite need. I know firsthand because I took in a child that was in high school and thrown out and helped him graduate. It is a need. But I look out in this audience and I see people out here. We put a lot on our teachers. I see people out here that are concerned for the children. And I think we need to involve our community in helping these children, these throwaways, because they're worth something.
I think I have a question to that is, since when did it become, or since when did we as a society start expecting the school district to raise our children? I feel like, yes, our children are being taken care of by our teachers and learning from our teachers in the classroom. That's already social emotional learning. That's FFA, 4-H, all this stuff that's already out in our society. Our teachers are doing a great job.
Teachers have education degrees. Psychiatrists have psychiatrist degrees. Psychologists, counselors, social workers. We as a school should recommend to families or to students help that's already presented in the community through social programs. And we shouldn't be doing it ourselves, because when government takes over things, things don't usually go well.
Okay, so this is gonna be a, I thought 30 seconds was short. This is like one of those one sentence questions that I referred to earlier. So just kind of a yes or no and just a one sentence. And the question is, and we're gonna start with Ms. Hopkins. We're gonna go down and around to Mr. Youngberg and then back this way. The question is, do you support MCSD's optional dual language immersion programs or other specialized curriculum options?
Yes. And maybe not all the chosen languages at this time. Yes.
Yes, I supported it 8 years ago. And it's the best program we had.
Yes.
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 Of course, let's not take it out on the child, especially younger kids that come into the country or whatever. Let's take advantage of that, and
Thank you.
that's more than one sentence.
Thanks, Mr. Steger.
Yes, enrichment is great, and the more enrichment, the better.
Yes, if we have the resources to provide them, I think that we should.
If we're meeting the academic needs of the children, then we can look at other programs.
Yes, as long as it is academically necessary.
Yes. Anything that helps the children learn.
I do support them also. I think our Spanish enrollment is increasing, and that shows that the community also supports it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that's one of the things I remember when we first moved here, being amazed at the number of languages the school district provided.
Thank you.
Okay, 30-second question again, and we're just gonna kind of dial it in. So we're gonna start with Mr. Studer this time and go back around the other way. And so trying to mix it up a little bit. And our question is gonna be 30 seconds. Do special education services such as language therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and social services need improvement? If so, how would you recommend doing that? Yes. Do special education services such as language therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and social services need improvement? If so, how would you do that? And I'm sorry, but we're giving you 30 seconds to articulate that. Sorry.
I'm not real familiar with their process. I'm sure they're trying to do the best, and I guess the bottom line is just encourage the instructors to do the best they can. And if they need something, ask for it.
You were going this way. Yeah.
I'm not sure it needs improvement. I think that the school district is doing a pretty good job with what we have. We have some excellent, I mean, superb educators in these fields. And I've been in a district with a lot less services. So I don't know that it needs improvement. I want to commend those that are in those, doing those hard jobs.
I guess I was always taught that almost everything can be improved in some way, so. That's all
I'm not sure about it, but if it needs improvement, then we try to put money in it if it needs more, and try to get more parent involvement if they need more staffing or some volunteers.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive that overqualified educator wrote that question. I don't understand it, so I'm not gonna try to BS you guys.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I want to defer to what the educator said down there about what she knows about the programs.
I'm not sure at this time if it needs improvement or not. I can only draw on my friends' experiences in leading these programs, and they seem to be pretty satisfied. I guess when I'm a trustee, I can look in more into that.
I have to say, my wife is a speech language pathologist in the school district, and I'm very partial, but she does a tremendous job. But I will say that from what I know of her experience and the experience of other people in special education aspects of the school district, there are at times seemingly a lack of support from administration and other entities at times. And so I think some greater improvements in that area, so they have greater support and resources, would be valuable.
So I'm not really familiar specifically with the special needs, special education. I will say my son is in the gifted and talented program at Pineview, and that's a part of special education. And that program is absolutely phenomenal. It is, the state of Wyoming is actually one of 3 states in the country that's actually doing gifted and talented properly and correctly. And so that is that portion of special needs just on the other side.
One thing that we're having trouble with is finding teachers for special ed these days. Same thing, excuse me, with psychologists and some of the other occupational jobs. So I think if we could improve it, it would be to have a handful of candidates that we could choose from.
I would have to defer to educators, as I said in my opening, that I think we need to work together. From what I've seen, I'm very pleased with our special education system, but our educators that deal with them on a daily basis would be the ones that would be able to tell us what we need and just how much that we need. And then we, as a board, would figure it out from there.
That's a very interesting question. As a trustee, I feel like if there was somebody with problems with the special ed, I feel like as a trustee, you should be able to figure that out. Whether or not it needs improvement, I have not seen anything that would say that it does. I mean, even as well, I think they do a wonderful job. So don't fix what's not broken.
I would go to the source, the teachers and the parents who are involved in the programs. And then I would review with them what they like and what they don't or what they dislike, and go from there to improve or fix and solve.
I would agree that I am aware of some staffing issues that we have in this area. I have also heard some concerns about support, so I think that potentially the district could do a better job supporting our special ed staff. I haven't heard a lot from parents, so I don't want to speak towards that. But as far as I know, there aren't any major issues that need to be confronted with that area, just dealing with staffing and some support issues.
do a comprehensive situation assessment. If it's doing a good job, great, still give it to more support. If the job's not getting it done, then give them as much support as they need. I've always thought that the people in special ed and support programs are on the fast track to sainthood. So maybe if we issue them a set of wings, the public would know we have angels among us.
Okay, thank you. This next one is going to be just one of those very short one sentence answers. We're going to start with Ms. Redding and work our way down and then go to the other side of the room. The question is, what is the best thing about Natrona County School District?
Honestly, I think our teachers. I do have children in these schools here, and I support that they have and the stuff that they have to deal with in the classroom is astronomical. And I think our teachers are probably the few that deal with all of them.
I would say the variety of learning. You can do pathways, you can get academics, and you have all of the activities. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
What is the best thing about Natrona County School District?
So I think that I would say our open enrollment is a super unique aspect of our district that we need to protect.
Regardless of our individual philosophies, if they're different or not, I think at heart, everybody in the district wants to do what is absolutely best for our kids, keep doing it that way.
I want to defer that to the parents of Natrona County. The greatest thing I see is when families are out shopping together. And the greatest thing I've ever seen in this whole nation and all the places I've been is when dads are out there with their kids.
Best thing about Natrona County High School are the people who live it. With blood, sweat, tears, every single day.
I think the best thing about NC, Natrona County, are the 3,000 employees we have, from the teachers to the janitors. You never go into a dirty school.
Can we pass that? Thank you.
Kelly Wash, when my kids were going there, I loved the school. The teachers were great. The staff were great. The activities that they have there, the programs, the BOCES, I love it. My child was able to take college classes while in high school. That's great. I love it.
It's hard to list them all, but I used and liked open enrollment. I like the dual language immersion, which my kids could have done that. And acceptance, how most of our kids accept everybody and invite them in.
My son went through grade school, middle school, and high school, and I love the extracurricular activities, music, the arts, the fact that he's able to do Star Lane and learn critical thinking. I love the school district.
When we choose the school choice, parents can choose the best school that fits the child needs the best.
The main word that comes to mind on this question is opportunity. The opportunity that our children have is vast in the school district, with so many opportunities for drama, music, art, sports. There's so many different sports to choose from. It's amazing. So great opportunities.
School choice, open enrollment, being able to choose any school and district and all those unique programs at each individual school.
I think we have the best staff.
I've heard a lot of things that are great. There are a lot of things that are great. The staff, the teachers, the janitors, the principals. That's what's great.
Well, thank you all to all of the candidates. We're going to do the concluding statement, which is going to be 1 minute for each of you. And trying to think, I guess we'll start with Mr. Christopherson this time. And just to try to mix it up and then go the opposite direction. But before we do that, Beth and I would like to thank you all for attending. We'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and the library, and especially all of the candidates for making time tonight, and for all of those of you who are willing to join us this evening. So, Mr. Christopherson, we're going to start with you. You have 1 minute, so 30 seconds on the yellow and then 1 minute total time.
Well, thank you all for coming out. It's really good to see the interest in the school board. It's been many, many nights we were up at the school board and not one person ever showed up. And it seems like nobody ever shows up until there's a big issue that everybody wants to talk about. But most of the work on the school board is done behind the scenes on the different committees and all of the things that you're involved with. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time and it's not paid. And there's always somebody out there willing to tell you you're a super asshole. So I'm willing to stand up, take the flack. I'm going to fight for your kids. I will always put them first. I will always run it through that filter. Thank you.
In closing, I would like to read the NCSD mission statement. In NCSD, we strive to provide all students with optimal learning opportunities, the tools, skills, and knowledge they will need to be successful in the 21st century. As the largest employer in Natrona County, we play a vital role in the community. If I'm elected, I will abide by and keep this mission in mind while making the important decisions for the students and faculty of the Natrona County School District, along with the fiscal responsibility in mind without sacrificing the student's education. Thank you.
Let's see here. I didn't really have something written here, but I wanted to encourage parents to get more involved. And they are the first educator. Even if they're good or bad, they're still their child's first educator. They will be choosing the school that their children will be going to. We need to take the pressure off of our teachers and no more social emotional learning. We just need to keep the federal government more at bay, and teachers and parents need to work together and to build our better community in our school system. Thank you. I think I'm done.
Final comments. I just start off by saying, great job up here. I'm just very impressed with all of you, and thank you for this opportunity to sit up here with you. My desire, going for the school board is to find a way to serve the individual children in our community, and to have an impact on that. I feel that I have a skill set that will help to find better solutions for the school district overall. And I'm very anxious to dive in and research and look for solutions and to just team up with the others who are elected to the board. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Like everybody else has said, I thank you all for coming out. I think it's been a great event. I'm running to maintain the quality of education here in Natrona County. I'm running to support the teachers, support the arts, support the trades, the college readiness of the students, improve attendance, graduation, and test scores, and maintain that quality of education, and maintain that open enrollment that we have that is so sacred in this district.
So if reelected, I'll continue to put kids first in my decision making. I also would like to focus this year on teacher retention and recruitment, because nationally there's a real shortage, and that's hitting us locally as well. And they are our first line of defense for the kids. I also think that we need to revisit our discipline and our absence policies, because they both impact the teacher retention. I know that I'm hearing from principals that when kids, or from teachers, that when kids sent to the office, there's nothing being done. So we need to reevaluate what we're doing with those two policies so that our teachers aren't having to put up with kids that are disrespectful.
I first want to say thank you for everybody that came out tonight. And we've all got a hard decision. As I sit here tonight and I look up and down this table, there's some hard decisions to make, and I'm not sure that I've made them yet. So that being said, reach out to each and every one of us if you have questions. If you want to know more about where we stand, reach out to us so that we can help you make an informed decision in November. Kids first, working together as parents, educators, grandparents, and just concerned citizens working together to educate our children. Because that's what it's about. It's about the kids.
As a trustee, I feel like they're the conduit between the parents and the school district. And I think parents, we should get involved. We need to get involved in this school district. I think that trustees should also support those teachers, get in those classrooms and ask those teachers what they need from them. So as a trustee, it would be nice to go in there, see the schools, talk to the teachers, and also try and get those parents involved in that classroom and make sure that they're showing up for their children. We all had children for a reason because we love them and we wanted to raise them right. And we wanted to raise them how we think is correct. And as parents, that's our job. It's not the school districts. It's our job to be involved and to get in there and do the work with those teachers to make sure they're doing a good job.
I would like to shift the power from the district office back to the schools and to the parents. The teachers know best what goes on in the classroom and they know the solutions to it, and I trust them on that. The parents know what's best for their kids and they know how to take care of that. Those two should be the first that we should be consulting with at all times on any decisions, on any policy. So let's put power back in the parents' hands. Let's put power back in the teachers' hands and let these kids thrive.
Once again, I want to thank our host, the League of Women Voters, and the library for hosting this, and the audience as well. If you guys weren't here, we would just be sitting in a room talking to ourselves. So it's fantastic that you all showed up and that you're showing an interest in school board. What I would bring to the school board if I'm reelected, hopefully, is knowledge and experience. I've been on the board for 4 years and I've learned a lot. Just being on it and interacting with other trustees and going through the budget process and sitting on the academic steering committee and policy committee. And I hope to continue to bring that knowledge and experience that I have back and to continue to serve in these very interesting times that we live in and take some of these issues head on. So I do ask for all of you to all of your votes on November 8th. And once again, my name is Kiana Smith.
And once again, thank you to everybody who's here and everybody who helped bring the program to everybody. Our children graduated from the Natrona schools, and I think they got a pretty good education. And we have some grandchildren in the Natrona schools, and I think they're still getting a pretty good education. I want to be a part of that. As I said before, I want to go from the classroom to the boardroom. Instead of following policy, I want to help devise policy, implement policy. Policy designed to give our students what they need to become the people who they are, who they need to be in order to help society. We need to do our job. We need to take care of the kids. We need to take care of the people taking care of the kids and just make the future great.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for the candidates up here. I picked on dads, so I just want to say something about motherhood. It's probably the greatest, thankless job there is. And God bless mothers. That's why they got a day, a Sunday. The greatest opportunity we all have is all of us, not just your children, but all of us, is to figure out what opportunity we want to follow. Set your student's career path, but just be prepared for change. Fundamentals will always be correct. Support your child, support your teacher, communicate with the trustees, whoever they are. With the advent of the internet and this library, we can all improve ourselves and our children.
This has been a really awesome experience and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I mentioned in my opening statements that I have 4 primary goals. I was only able to really kind of briefly mention one first one. And the first one was to listen to teachers and all those who work in schools. I am very concerned that 65% of our staff want to leave the profession. And we are in the crisis. And if you want to know the research about it, come see me afterwards. I'll tell you what the research says and what I know about the crisis here in the Natrona County School District. I also want to look closely at the decisions that are made by the school district and understand the whys behind those decisions. Are the decisions truly in the best interest of students, parents, teachers, schools, and the community? I'm not afraid to ask the hard questions. I'm not afraid to say things that are not politically correct and what's right. I want to be a voice of someone who has had firsthand knowledge in the last several years in the school district. And I want to be an advocate for students, no matter their backgrounds, and especially for those whose parents do not actively participate.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
30 years ago, I graduated from high school. I have a son that's named after a teacher. Yes, they matter. We need to protect them, and if 2/3 of them want to quit, we're not doing a good job.
Oh, the microphone.
Please.
My name is Fatima Mccullar again. I am doing this because I believe in the children. I believe in the teachers. I believe in the community. And I think that we need to stand by them, especially the teachers. They do take a whole role for the child. We need to also try, if I become part of the board, I want to get trade schools, trade programs within the high school. Don't wait for them to go to college. Try to get them in the high school. Because like some people said, they don't go to college. Some don't want to go to college. My son didn't want to go to college right away. He wanted to learn a trade. And here you have to go to college to do that. Some things are not in pathway. So I do think it's important to try to get some trade in the high school. So thank you.
Thank you. Just a reminder, the election is on November 8th. You can vote right now. If you have any questions, you can contact the county clerk's office. There are up to 4 seats for the school district, 4 that you can vote for. Now I'm going to kick it to Kylie, and then you'll be able to finally applaud and clap for the candidates.
Yes, thank you, Beth, and thank you, Joanne, to our moderators. Thank you to the Natrona County Library for giving us this space to host this forum. And thank you to all of our candidates and making it be a very difficult decision that we have to make by November 8th. Early voting is open, so you can go and vote now. And the last day to vote, November 8th, be sure to vote informed. Check out those voter guides online, vote411.org. And if you are passionate about community and politics, like Kiana Smith mentioned, consider joining the League of Women Voters, that we're able to stay nonpartisan by having a lot of different opinions in the room. So we want to hear your opinions and to be able to improve our community and improve our voter services. So thank you so much for showing up tonight, and we'll see you out on November 8th.